We're joined by Lynelle Sparks. She's with the Texas and National Association of School Resource Officers. Lynelle, thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you for inviting us.
Now, we've seen a lot of students making false threats against schools over the past few weeks. So first, talk to us a little bit about what goes into evaluating any kind of threat against a school, and what challenges do school-based law enforcement face when they're looking at a threat and trying to figure out if it's real or fake.
Well, there's a lot of things that go involved with that. We have what we have in Texas is called behavioral threat assessment teams. So every school district should have a behavioral threat assessment team in Texas, which in situations like that, we are going to review what threat has been made. Is that threat a very viable threat? What actions need to be taken? And then we go from there as to how we react to that, depending on where it is on that.
Well, how do school-based law enforcement and districts balance conducting an investigation with letting parents and the public know about what's going on?
That is a very challenging role, but it's obviously first comes first is if we have an active threat going on, or the possibility of an active threat, that's our first important thing to take care of is safety. Our number one thing on every campus across the state of Texas and across the United States is safety. It's our first and foremost. So that's going to be our first goal, is to make sure everyone's safe. Once that has taken place, then we can start breaking down. Okay, let's go back to doing our threat assessment. Let's go back to letting parents know that everyone's okay. We take each of those steps, but the very first one obviously is going to make sure that everyone's safe in our schools.
Now we know everyone's fears have been heightened after what happened in Uvalde. So does that mean that school-based law enforcement or any police agency will act any differently when responding to any perceived threat now?
I think officers are definitely going to, they know, I guess, what everyone, I think everyone knows what happened at Uvalde for the most part. So I think that's obviously going to weigh on everyone's mind. But again, that safety, officers are going to step up, know their job, more training, more all of the things to make sure everything's in place so we don't make those mistakes, and learning from those lessons. That's what's really key, is learning from what happened and making sure that we take care of what we need to take care of on our end.
So would officers be more likely to arrest a kid now if they make a threat, where before they might have just given them a warning or suspension?
As far as school resource officers, I think it's really important that they have that training. And so as NASRO, we believe in that carefully selected, specifically trained and properly equipped. And with that comes is understanding the law, making sure that, yes, we know that kids can make mistakes as far as the hoaxing and things like that. But we also know with where we are in society, we've got to take all of those things into account. So that's very important. So I think those school resource officers and school-based law enforcement that are been in the field and stay in the field and trained, we know what is expected, what we need to do, and how to assess that and make sure that we're doing what's benefits for everyone.
School law enforcement agencies have a tough responsibility. What goes into helping kids feel safe while making sure school still feels like school?
Number one is being there, being on campus, being a presence, letting them see you during lunch, letting them see you at sporting events, letting them know that you're there, having those relationships prior to something that happens, because quite frankly, if something happens and you are just a person that's been there, that's standing there and has no relationship, they don't have a bond with you, and they're not going to trust you, quite frankly. So that is our job as school resource officers, is to have relationships with those kids before these things happen, so that there is that trust and they know they can come and depend on you.
Now, in a lot of the instances that we've seen lately, if a threat gets posted or called in, kids are immediately on the phones alerting administrators about these threats. And what message do you have for students about helping keep campuses safe?
I think it's definitely important if you hear something, see something, immediately report it. I think now that students right now, because of what happened in Uvalde, they are still afraid, quite a few of them. And so they know the seriousness of it. They understand that people have lost their lives and it could happen here. And that's what's important, is that everyone understands is we've got to be aware and know what when something is happening before it happens. It's to know that we can help them before we get to that situation, hopefully.
Lots of good information to know. Lynelle Sparks with the Texas and National Association of School Resource Officers. Again, thank you so much for being with us. We appreciate it.
Thank you.